And the idea that the Prophet was sent to fight the entire world, this is not a real idea. This is taken also from another hadith in Bukhari as well, where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Umirtu an uqatil an-nas hatta yaqulu la ilaha illallah." I've been sent to fight the people until they say la ilaha illallah. There is no God worthy of worship except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Now, the thing about this hadith is Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, he stops at this hadith. So this is not some modern distortion of the hadith. Ibn Hajar, he stops at this hadith and he says that if someone was to say, and I'll quote it so that it's very accurate. If someone was to say that this hadith means that every single person who doesn't say La ilaha illallah needs to be fought, why did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam leave fighting many nations? If someone makes this question that the Prophet has been commanded to fight basically the entire planet and he didn't do it, then how do we respond to that? Because that's the reality. The Prophet ﷺ, the main battle that the Prophet had was with the kuffar of Quraysh specifically, right? And anyone who aligned with them. Did he end up fighting every single nation within the world? The answer is no. He did send the message to all of the nations. That was a da'wah, and that was a call that he gave to everybody. But he didn't end up going to war and battle with every single nation within the world. So Ibn Hajar, he asked this question, if someone says such a thing, what do we say? And then he brings about 6 or 7, maybe 8 answers to this question. The best answer, wallahu a'lam, is that the Prophet was not commanded to fight the people in its entirety. And when the word an-nas is coming over here, the people, this is what they call a generality, amun urida bihi al-khusus, a generality by which something particular has been intended. And this is one of the answers that Ibn Hajar gives as well. And what that means is, the word nas, it specifically means the mushrikeen of Quraysh, the pagans of Quraysh. And the proof for that is the other narration in Surah Abi Dawood and also in Surah An-Nasa'i, where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Umirtu an uqatil al-mushrikeen." I've been commanded to fight the pagans, i.e. the pagans of Arabia. Specifically, the alif lam is al-ahdiyah, telling you that this is referring to the pagans of the Arabian Peninsula at that time, specifically, right? So that shows, and by the way, this is also within the Quran as well. Meaning that when the word an-nas comes, Ibn Ashur mentions that in a number of places in the Quran, when the word an-nas comes, he calls it ada Qur'aniyah, a pattern within the Quran. Often Allah means specifically who? The pagans from Quraysh. Okay? So you have to be cognizant of this meaning. When you see the word nas, it doesn't, people at large, it doesn't necessarily mean everybody at large. Okay? Oftentimes in the Quran as well, when this word people at large comes, what Allah is referring to is who? The kuffar of Quraysh specifically. Right? Why? Because they were the ones who were directly addressed by the Prophet ﷺ's message. So over here, Ibn Hajar says, how do we solve this problem that the Prophet has been commanded to fight the people at large, but he didn't do it? Because he would be sinful in that case, right? If he doesn't fulfill a commandment that Allah gave to him, what would happen? He would be sinful. He didn't do it. So the answer is a number of answers. One of them, and I think this is the best answer, is that the word an-nas is a general term by which something particular is intended. Like, I'll give you an example. In English, right? You might say something like, some people, wallahi, they just never learn. And you really intend someone specific from the context. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the people doesn't necessarily mean all of the people. And the proof for that is, of course, in the other hadith, the hadith of Abi Dawood, and also the hadith of Sunan Nasa'i as well, the other variant.